Everybody. My name's Javier Rogers. Super excited to be a part of the class and learn from your guys' life experiences and who God has been in your life, what Christ has done, and where kind of the Holy Spirit's leading you now. Um, and so for me, the baptism of Holy Spirit this week in week one, obviously we see in Acts 2, the gathering of the upper room with the 120. And, and in one moment, right, the Holy Spirit came down like a fire and they were speaking these different languages. It could have been the prayer language. It could have been right. But what really struck out was it wasn't what happened up there. Yes, miraculous. God sent His helper. God is not a liar, right? So what happened next, though, right, when they left and they were amongst the common people, right? And these people, there were people from different parts of the world and regions, Greeks, Macedonians, shoot, I don't even know all the other ones, right? Sicilians, all that stuff. Um, they saw these 120 people and they're like, man, surely they're drunk. It's barely midday. How can they do this? And then they started listening and like, how are they speaking my language? They're just Galileans. They're just Jews and not even like Pharisees or Sadducees. They're the bottom of the barrel type of Jews. How can they be saying and ministering to me? And then obviously we keep reading and Peter sobers up or right, he comes back down to earth and he gives these people the insight or the wisdom and the knowledge of what's happening. And because of that moment, right, we see 3,000 lives come to know Christ. And so it's amazing what 120 lives, what they could do to bring in 3,000 lives into the kingdom, right? And so that just kind of when we allow the Holy Spirit, when we marinate, I guess, when we marinate with the Holy Spirit, but two, when we allow the Holy Spirit to be at the forefront and to really lead us, as Jesus said, He's the Spirit of truth. He is our helper. What that can do for not only ourselves, as far as edifying our spirit man and dying to ourselves and killing our flesh, but also what that can do to our community and the ones we love, but also the ones we don't love. Um, as people see our lives and they see, oh, but they were just, what is this that I'm hearing? Like, how are they? Why is their life so different than what I'm used to or the people around me? And so I love and this could have gone many different ways for me because a lot of different thoughts came to mind. But I love in John 14, 15, and 16 and 17. Um, but John 14, when Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And he keeps going down and he talks about, when I leave, I'm going to send a helper. I'm going to send the Spirit of truth. And then you go to chapter 15, he talks about being the true vine and we are the branches, right? If we abide in him, he'll abide in us. Apart from him, there's nothing that is good, right? And then in 16, he talks about the work of the Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Spirit comes. Nevertheless, Nevertheless, when he comes, he will convict the world concerning sin, righteousness, and judgment. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth, for he will not speak on his own authority, but whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. He will glorify me. And so I love that when Jesus says that because previously in chapter 14, he says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He also references, I'm sending somebody, the Spirit of truth. And so what do we have? We have once we come into this baptism of the Holy Spirit, we have the Holy Spirit, and because we have the Holy Spirit, now we have Jesus. Or maybe we had Jesus first, but Jesus says, "You don't forget, there's a helper coming. There's a helper somewhere knocking on your door. Open it." Right. So we can't get close to Jesus without getting close as a byproduct to the Holy Spirit, and vice versa. Right. If we get close to the Holy Spirit, there's no way we can get any closer, or we can't get close to Christ because one reflects the other, and it's just amazing um, that when we allow baptism of the Holy Spirit to kind of take lead, right? The benefits of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, right? We get this prayer language, right? And I understand and acknowledge not every believer has a prayer language, but I've experienced and I've seen that there's something, when I activate my prayer language that it's just another level. And I'm not saying that it's you miss. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, right? It's one of those things. But there's just another level that really comes into play when you activate this prayer language, um, and how it's, discussing the Holy Spirit related to a person's prayer language. I love with one of our videos said the fruit or the spirit is the character or the nature of Jesus Christ being reproduced in us and finding the expression through us by the Holy Spirit. And so that kind of stuck out to me of like the fruit of the Spirit. All right, we got the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Because of the baptism, now there's these fruits that get to come a part of it. And if Christ is the true vine and we are the branches, right? He is pruning these good things so that way there can be more God things. And so, for me being a pastor's kid, I grew up in the church. I've been a part my whole life. I don't know life without church. And yeah, and I'll say this: the Holy Spirit's been very kind, very gentle, both indirectly and directly to me in my life, and seeing signs and miracles and wonders and things. Um, I two instances. One when I was um, at a kids camp when I was 6, and I remember it was me, some of my siblings, and some other church families, kids that I grew up with, and we were at the altar, and everything. I kind of like opened my eyes a little bit, and I remember just seeing, we were on this carpet, and everything around us just got dark, and just these lights just got even brighter that were shining on us. And I don't remember hearing the worship music or anything, but I do remember hearing like this rumbling, this train just kind of coming through, and it lasted for minutes. And I remember just like this wind just roaring through. Um, Consistently for those several minutes, and then it kind of just died down. And I didn't know what that was then. I remember my parents would talk to me about it as I got older and like, hey, do you remember this? I was like, yeah. Oh, he's like, so what, like, did you ever find out like what that was? Did the whole like I was like, well, yeah, I like to, I think so. And then they kind of also helped me process like what that was, and kind of how the Holy Spirit just kind of just fell in that moment amongst us. And wow. And then just, getting older, and as we would host our youth camps, and being pastor son, you also get to do some more things than most kids. And during altar calls and stuff, you get to pray for kids and really speak into their lives. And so before altar call or during altar call, before I even said anything, a lot of majority of the time, and sometimes it was instant, sometimes it took a couple seconds, couple minutes, but there would be moments that I would speak and give these kids a word of wisdom or some type of word of knowledge that I had no business knowing, that I had no idea what was going on in their personal life at home. I just knew that if I'm just a vessel and I let the Holy Spirit do what He does and speak through me, then hopefully they take this and let God and let Christ, take hold of their heart to allow the Holy Spirit to take them to a new level or to a new path. And so it's just been quite the experience for me. I'm so grateful and thankful that um, we get to experience Christ fully, and because of that, we get to experience the Holy Spirit um, in all His fullness. I was not expecting to cry, but uh, it's just awesome that we get a father who cares for us, even if I don't know you guys' situation, but my father, my stepdad adopted me, and that's a later thing, but I got to experience a great father, um, and so we get to experience that spiritually too, and He can be that for us in our physical form, in our physical bodies. But I just want to say thank you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next forums in the weeks to come.